We're going to be discussing how to get rid of sewer flies on this edition of the DIY Pest Control Podcast. Welcome to the DIY Pest Control Podcast, where you get the best info for those who want to perform their own pest control. The DIY Pest Control Podcast is brought to you by Nature Pest. Nature Pest has been providing the finest in commercial and residential integrated pest management for structural, lawns, trees, shrubs, and mosquitoes with better control and less contamination at an affordable price. For more info, visit us at naturepest.com. Hey, welcome back to the DIY Pest Control Podcast. I'm your host, Frank Hernandez. I am a certified pest control operator here at Nature Pest, and I wanted to discuss the issue of dealing with sewer flies in your home or business. And sewer flies are a huge problem in homes and businesses. And sewer flies are related to a group of flies known as filth flies. And I know what you're thinking. Well, my house is immaculate. I clean. I have no dirt. You can eat off my floors. And you might be saying the same thing about your business. And the reality is that the filth is not in your floors, is not in your surfaces. It's not anywhere you can actually see it. The filth is in your drains. And these are drain flies. And all of your drains are full of organic matter, whether it's your toilet drain, whether it's your shower drain, whether it's your drains in your sinks or your faucets. They're going to be contaminated with organic matter, and these little flies are breeding inside those drains, and they're living and breeding in there, and you have to be able to clean that out in order to get control. In a place like a business where you have many floor drains, it's a common problem, but it also has to do with other parts of your business that you're not seeing. Even in the homes, behind the refrigerator, there are drain pans on all refrigeration equipment, and it builds up organic matter and dirt and things back there that are bacteria and water, and they can breed in those areas behind your fridge. So these are areas that you're going to have to look at. In restaurants, it's common to have them where the soda fountains are. There's ice machines that have amount of mold growing on them inside drains, and there are drain wires and the drain pipes and the drain hoses. All of these areas are points where these drain flies become a nightmare. And the problem is most people don't know to look there. And most pest control people don't know to look there either. They're trying to solve the problem with a chemical. And I have bad news for you. When it comes to sewer flies, drain flies, there is no real chemical control for them. If you pour a pesticide down the drain to try to control a sewer fly, you're not going to kill the egg that's growing in there, and they're going to just go in there flying around the next day and lay more eggs, and you're not going to get them. So what the real solution for controlling sewer flies is first finding those areas anywhere you could think of that there might be water, behind a refrigerator, behind an ice maker, in a soda fountain, in the floor drain, something. I've seen floor drains that have been covered up with equipment, and nobody knew that there was a sewer drain down there, and there was food in that drain, and the flies were breeding there because nobody could see it. Some of these equipment have been bolted down to the floor where they can't be moved. It's about inspection. It's about monitoring. So the best thing you could do is start to put monitors out to find out where they're breeding. And the monitor is going to tell you where those are. Another thing that you can do to catch them is to start using fly lights, because there's certain adults will go to the fly light and be caught. So it's a way of removing them and reducing the population. In the case of drains, you're going to probably, to get a quick result, you're going to have to use either a drain brush and scrub the drains out immediately, within the first top, a couple of inches down to a couple of feet. And in little drains, you might have to remove the traps in the sinks and in the faucet. Remove those traps and take a brush, take an old toothbrush, any brush, and brush out and clean them out completely. They also sell little round brushes that are 1-2 inches, all the way up to 3 and 4 inch pipes that you can stick down the drain and brush out all that material. The second thing you're going to have to use is drain cleaner. There's a difference between a drain gel and a drain cleaner. The drain cleaner and drain foam it's a biological product. You can't use bleach to clean out drains. For this, bleach will not work to kill or remove the drain material that's there. You can't just pour chemicals down the drain to try to control it, because you're entering into a biohazard problem where you're pumping chemicals into the water treatment, and into the groundwater. So you can't. So using a Invade bio cleaner or any other type of bio cleaner which has enzymes that is going to eat away at that. Now, here is the problem that people have. You want a quick. This didn't happen overnight. This did not happen overnight. And you're not going to get rid of it overnight. Okay? It's not going to just go away. This is going to require a lot of physical work. It's going to require a lot of time and inspection. If you're thinking you're going to put out a chemical product and tomorrow you're not going to have a problem, or a week from now you're not going to have a problem, you're kidding yourself. The biggest challenge that I find in food service facility and restaurants and things like that is that people get desperate and then they do desperate things. Putting out foggers in a restaurant or any other business where all your surfaces are going to get contaminated, where your cups are going to get contaminated, where your forks, your knives, anything that fogger falls on is going to get contaminated. And what you're going to find out is you're going to put out a fogger and you're going to get a quick result for about a day or two. And then it's going to escalate again, because you only killed the adults that are flying around in the air. You didn't take care of the larvae. You didn't take care of the nymphs. You didn't take care of where they're growing, the eggs. So what you have to do is find them first, then start treating. And this is a process of treating those drains every day for 1 to 2 weeks. Possibly even, this is going to take, in most cases, a month to 2 months to get under control, to where it's no longer a problem. And you have to be willing to go and treat those drains every single day with either drain gel, drain foam, or drain cleaner. Now, there's a couple of ways to do it. What I would recommend is you also put monitors down into those drains, because that's going to tell you if the population has gone down. And then later, after you're done with all the cleaning and getting control, that you still install monitors in those drains, because monitors are your first line of defense to tell you that you have a problem. So that's going to be what it's going to take to actually get control of fly problem. This is also for fruit flies and things like that. It has to do with filth somewhere. Okay, it might not be on the floors, but it might be somewhere. So you have to do a lot of investigative work. It's a lot of labor. You might have some grease pits or something like that has water around it, and you got to look at all those areas. So that's going to be what it's going to take. I hope this podcast has helped you today to be able to get control of this pesky little pest problem. But do not get desperate. Do not lose hope. It's going to be a long-term proposition for you. It's not a 10-day deal or a 5-day deal, or which chemical do I apply, which pesticide is best. It really is a real nuisance nightmare if you've got a problem like this. And this is really the only way that we can solve it, and it's really the only way you're going to be able to solve it. So until next time, hey folks, have a great one.
Thank you for listening to the DIY Pest Control Podcast. Please remember that although Franklin Hernandez is a certified and licensed pest control operator in the state of Florida, The content of this podcast is for informational purposes only. You should consult your local and state government or cooperative extension service before performing any pest control service. Remember to always read and follow label directions because the label is the law.